Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we are live. Season 4, episode 14 of the phenomenon known to all as Saturday Afternoon's Main Event. Go ahead, tap in right below at Saturday Afternoon's _ main event and watch us either on Twitch, YouTube, or Twitter. Best believe we have something good for y'all today, so hope to see you there. Gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we are live. Season 4, episode 14 of the Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we are live. Season 4, episode 14 of the phenomenon known to man as Saturday Afternoon's Main Event. Go ahead, tap right down in below, and go ahead and either watch us on Twitter, Twitch, or YouTube. We have a good episode for you guys today. Hope to see you there. Boys and girls, children of all ages, we are live. Season 4, episode 14 of the phenomenon known to man as Saturday Afternoon's Main Event. Go ahead, tap right down in below, and go ahead and either watch us on Twitter, Twitch, or YouTube. We have a good episode for you guys today. Hope to see you there. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we are live. Season 4, episode 14 of the phenomenon known to man as Saturday Afternoon's Main Event. Go ahead, tap right down in below, and go ahead and either watch us on Twitter, Twitch, or YouTube. We have a good episode for you guys today. Hope to see you there. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we are live. Season 4, episode 14 of the phenomenon known to man as Saturday Afternoon's Main Event. Go ahead, tap right down in below, and go ahead and either watch us on Twitter, Twitch, or YouTube. We have a good episode for you guys today. Hope to see you there. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we are live. Season 4, episode 14 of the phenomenon known to man as Saturday Afternoon's Main Event. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Season 4, Episode 14 of the phenomenon known to all as Saturday Afternoon's Main Event. Um, Today, we have a real good episode for you guys, most definitely do. And we always try our hardest to go ahead and deliver. And we thank you guys for always tuning in and supporting us. Unfortunately, we always have to go ahead and get down to these matters, of course, especially when it involves, deaths. Unfortunately, this past week, we had to hear on Scott Hall's birthday that Kevin Nash's son, Tristan Nash, had passed away. Of course, being that we know how much Kevin has been through this whole year in itself, having to lose his best friend and then having to go ahead and lose his son on his best friend's birthday, which has to be completely in itself harsh in life. And especially for him, I don't know how much he may be hurting. And we know that death is a real big heartache when it comes to family, when it comes to friends. And the most that we, those at Saturday Afternoon's main event, can go ahead and possibly do is send our prayers and our condolences to the Nash family, to friends of Tristan's, to just anybody in general that had a direct relationship and contact with Tristan and, the whole Nash family. So we just send love and consideration to all. I know Peeps may have some words to go ahead and say. So Peeps, you can perfectly chime in.
Well, thank you. It's one of the weird things that comes across when you talk about the world of wrestling, and usually it's mostly an escape for a lot of people during their daily lives to try to get away from the hustle and bustle, so to speak, of work, of uh, other family commitments, those kinds of things. And hopefully you get out of the business the kind of joy that both of us have when we do this show. But we would be remiss to say that real life does creep back into uh, the conversation. And when you hear about the Tristan Nash tragedy, it's really sad that 26 years old that he would lose his life. We don't know much more than that, and we're not going to get into anything that deep, even if we did know what happened. But knowing that Kevin Nash, in the span of 7 months, lost his best friend and his son has to be very, very painful. And I worry about him and his family going forward, friends, anybody that was within that circle that knew of Tristan, that knew of Nash. I know that a lot of their personal history has been thrown up there for public dissemination, but this is not about that. This is about a man losing their son, losing a family member. I've had a family member within the last couple of weeks lose somebody very close to them. So it always comes for the forefront that you keep people in their thoughts upmost to make sure that they are taken care of, and you can make sure that you know that they are being supported. So for those from us in the wrestling community, for us from Saturday Afternoon's main event, we send our condolences to the Nash family and hope that their healing is something that they can look forward to, and that it is not as painful going forward from here on out. But to losing somebody like that, very, very sad.
Yes. So once again, from here, us at Saturday Afternoon's main event, we send our love, our prayers, and our condolences to the family of Tristan Nash. So stay tuned. Do not go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. In about 30 seconds, we will go ahead and get into Saturday's afternoon's main event. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to season 4, episode 14 of the phenomenon known to all as Saturday Afternoon's main event. And speaking of phenomenon, let's go ahead and get into the host. And if you do not know who I am and you can't read the ticker down below, ladies and gentlemen, I suggest you go ahead, go to school, find your library, pick out the biggest dictionary you can find, preferably Merriam-Webster, and look me up under the word phenomenal. Ladies and gentlemen, it is I, the phenomenal one, and of course I am not alone, because my co-host, ladies and gentlemen, is none other than the limousine riding, jet flying, piss stealing, wheeling dealing, son of a gun who's not having a hard time holding his alligators down. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to go ahead and add to it, give me 2 claps and a peace. Nate.
Woo! Yes, I am here. I am here. Once again, the Deep Voice Dynamo is here with his partner. Again, another episode of Saturday Afternoon's Main Event. A very good show we're going to have. I've got the yellow pen, so you know we're ready to go. Let's do this.
Yes, most definitely. Let's do this. So yes, guys, thank you for going ahead and tuning in. We have a good episode for you guys today, so we can't wait to go ahead and see what this whole hour to hour and a half has in store for us. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it with playing none other than... Oh yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Fast Track. First topic of the day. Tony Khan wanted this for the trade of Billy Gunn this past week on Monday Night Raw. Now, if you are synonymous with the fact that knowing that DX has many members, which consists of X-Pac, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, the ninth wonder of the world, China, and of course, I'm going to have to because, you know, this is just nostalgia to me. The Road Dogg Jesse James and the badass Billy Gunn, the New Age Outlaws. See, I would have
yes.
But I mean, you know, I would have to. Oh, you didn't know. See, I can't.
Yes.
Today. So, no. But yes, if you know, Billy Gunn was not on this past week's episode for the 25th anniversary of Generation X.
Good grief, I feel old. 25 years already.
25 peeps. Listen. Dang.
You're getting your first digress. I'm there to this. I can't believe it.
Wrestling related, ladies and gentlemen.
Just the first. There you go.
Not even wrestling related.
Yes.
That has to be something new. Okay, wow, you just made history, peeps. Guys,
fastest one, yeah.
Peeps just made the first non-related wrestling I digress.
Yeah. 25 years of DX. Good grief.
But to think that.
Okay. I'm gonna relax. I'm gonna relax.
Yes. Slow down, man. But yes, Billy Gunn was not on this past week's episode, of course, due to the fact that he works for AEW. But that didn't mean that WWE did not reach out to AEW to get Billy Gunn on the show. When asking for Billy Gunn, Khan made it very, very, very obligated for WWE to glorify AEW, just as they did for Mickie James with Impact during the Royal Rumble, stating that to get Billy, you have to go ahead and at least support the fact that he's in AEW, so mention them on USA Network. Bastards. Peeps, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I look at it like this. First and foremost, if we're going in it from the sense that Vince McMahon did not, quote unquote, acknowledge AEW as competition, then yeah, okay, fine. This isn't the Vince regime anymore. And we know that Triple H running everything right now, I don't think he thinks very highly of AEW in general. So what he's trying to do is, if he can get Billy Gunn, who I am pretty sure from what I remember reading was very, very, I won't say very depressed, but he was a little bit disappointed. Not a little bit, more a lot disappointed that he wasn't able to be shown on the show and be part of the DX celebration, because let's be honest, he was part of it. He was one of the founding members of DX right after DX was formed, the night after WrestleMania, where Shawn Michaels lost the belt to Stone Cold Steve Austin. So we know this really does hurt. But to acknowledge AEW on a WWE television show after they did so for Mickie James at Impact at the Royal Rumble, that's a little bit different in the fact that that was a premium live event. That was a quote-unquote pay-per-view, what we used to call pay-per-views now. So that was a little bit different than acknowledging them on live television for a company that is direct competition of you. But it still could have been done. If the whole point is, let's get Billy Gunn on air with the group, that could have been done. But I guess I see what's happened, probably a lot to do with the co-CEO of WWE, the other Khan, is Nick Khan, probably had something to say between that and Triple H and Stephanie McMahon, and probably said, you know what, well, let's kind of put the kibosh on that.
Well, if it comes down to that, then what can I say, peeps? I'm mad at it. Listen, it would have been fun. It would have been fun to hear the Barclays Center go ahead and start the scissor me chance, but I guess we have to wait another day for that. Okay.
Especially since they did tape segments with other wrestlers that were in WWE with AEW talent.
Cole, Big Show. I mean,
yes. Bryan Danielson did a tape segment from AEW with the WWE, and so it could have been done. But
what can we say? What can we say? Wow! Moving from one piece of news from the world of AEW, we move to another one. Ladies and gentlemen, AEW may buy out Charles Montgomery Punk's contract. And I say Charles Montgomery because I'm going ahead and showing tribute to the one, the only Mr. Peeps, Nate. But Peeps, what are your thoughts on this whole debacle, knowing the fact that we haven't seen Punk in so long, and now that they released a steal, where does this all tie into Punk now?
Yeah, I don't know what the legalities that are involved with this go, but it looks like it's moving forward in the sense that if this is in case going to be the deal, Punk is going to probably look elsewhere. And it's unfortunate because CM Punk brought ratings to AEW. CM Punk brought extra credibility to AEW and extra eyeballs, as was noted by the ratings, as they were doing at least between 980,000 to 1 million viewers watching when they knew Punk was on television. But Punk in a lot of instances became his own worst enemy as far as health. He couldn't stay healthy. He had 2 big injuries that really sidelined him. And also, he can be very acerbic when it comes to being in the locker room with people that he has feuds with, as evidenced by the media scrum at the end of All Out. Yeah. And all of the other things that happened. And we, like you just pointed out, Ace Steel being gone, his trainer, one of his best friends being gone from the company. I mean, you can't really go out there and go Pac-Man on somebody and bite and nibble on somebody while you're in the locker room if you're supposedly on the employ of a major wrestling promotion. That might have something to do with it. So if Punk is going to be bought out, where does he go from here? Does he stay in the wrestling business? Does he go into Hollywood because he has acted before? Who knows? And before anybody says he's going back to the WWE, I sincerely don't think that's going to happen at all. Maybe they're buying out his contract so that he can work somewhere else in the front office. Maybe they're going to move him around. Maybe he's going to find elsewhere something for him to do in the wrestling business, or maybe he just gets out of the wrestling business in general. The best way to say that, what I'm trying to say is, I don't know.
Peeps, can you imagine hearing Cult of Personality in the WWE arena in 2022? Hell no! No! No!
It's not going to happen. No.
It's like saying, it's like one thing I would hear from this one Jets fan. It's like wanting OBJ to come into the roster in this day and age, being 4-2.
Well, things can happen. I'm being generous.
It's that toxicity. That toxicity is no longer needed.
Yes, I understand. Yeah.
We don't need none of that. They're going on a perfectly great run.
Yeah.
What's next?
AEW needs to move as far from the story as possible. I think if this is where we're going with AEW, and they're trying to kind of purge the negativity in the locker room by doing this, we know we haven't seen the Bucks, we haven't seen Kenny Omega on camera in months, and we know that this kind of drama is not needed in AEW, because as we've seen, the momentum of AEW to WWE has completely done a 180. People are now talking more about WWE. People are watching more about the WWE as far as online engagement on social media, mentions, those kinds of metrics that they're using. AEW has to right the ship long term before they can start getting things done. And I think that Punk being if they're indeed trying to buy him out to move him away from his contract and get him away from the company, maybe that's a good start. But Charles Montgomery Punk, we'll see where he goes from there.
Go from here. It should be anything. Nothing close to nothing. Okay, no. You're good. You just go back home, sit back, relax, do whatever. Shoot, go into Bellator for all I care. Nothing close to professional wrestling. That toxicity is no longer needed. No, thank you very much. Thank you. Goodbye. Good riddance. Okay. From there, we move into another debacle in the world of AEW. Golly, what's up with AEW this week? Thunder Rosa, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, man. Of course, if you know, Thunder Rosa has been off TV for a while due to her injury. And of course, Toni Storm is the interim AEW Women's World Champion. Well, for the past 2 weeks, we have been hearing rumors swirling off of Twitter that she was trying to pull the Bret Hart, not in the sense of wanting to leave, but in the sense of not wanting to drop the belt to Toni. And instead, she wanted to continue her reign due to the fact that AEW hasn't been booking her friends well. So does this go ahead and coincide back to the fact that MJF wasn't wrong when he said this is all friends wrestling? No, he was completely right, I guess. You know, they're saying that she was in for it for herself. And then, in the sense, she said that she's going to be going on Busted Open Radio to state her case. But instead, before she does that, she wants every other person in the IWC to shut the hell up. Of course, I ain't never say anything about it, so she definitely ain't talking to me. That's all of you guys. Y'all can take care of that. Exclude Peeps from it, because Peeps don't even use Twitter. All right? Look at him. God darn it, he even said that he can't even imagine the fact that DS has been involved in the world for at least 25 years. Now tell me that's somebody that uses Twitter. So don't even go ahead and blame him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
This is crazy. This is the kind of toxicity that the AEW does not need. I really rather enjoy watching Thunder Rosa in the ring. I enjoy her matches. I enjoyed her reign as NWA Women's World Champion. I enjoyed her reign as AEW Women's World Champion until the injury happened. The match she had with Dr. Britt Baker is still one of those classic matches that everybody, another chef's kiss. That's the first one we have of the show. I think what we're starting to see now, as time is starting to go along, is that some of the toxicity that is here, we're starting to kind of cherry pick them away from the company. And you need to do more of that to make sure things get cleared up. I would love to see Thunder Rosa stay on an AEW roster and wrestle and have some of those really good matches that we're used to seeing. Problem is, she has to make sure that that is exactly what she wants, and if it benefits the company by her being there. We don't need any more stress. We don't need any more drama in the internet wrestling community from hearing about backstage politics and politicking and who should get this and who should do that. If they really want this thing to work overall, incidents like these have to be kept at a minimum. And this is one of those things that they need to try and get squelched very quickly, as far as I'm concerned.
Yes. Oh, yes. You're not even wrong on that. From there, we finally move into the world of WWE. Hey, man. Ladies and gentlemen, I am rocking a Jericho today. You know how amazing I look, but you know what's better than that? Bray Wyatt's promo this past Friday night on SmackDown. Oh, my gosh. Man,
yes.
Listen. Peeps, I'm loving where they're going with this. And I said this from the jump. It seems like he is battling his inner demons. And now that he's releasing it into this whole promo package.
Yes.
And, piggybacking off of the fact that he didn't get to finish what he got to finish last week. And saying that his anger issue sometimes gets the best of him, which allows him to do things that he doesn't want to do. Peeps. Oh my gosh. Listen, no offense, but Waylon Mercy would never be able to do what Bray Wyatt is doing.
Yes.
This right here is gold.
Yes.
Gold, I tell you. Oh my gosh. Peeps, what What did you think about the whole promo? I need to hear your thoughts.
First of all, it was very cryptic, but also very telling as to how cryptic it was. And for those that noticed at the end his newest persona with the newest mask, in the process of that, they threw out another QR code. So people that were quick enough to catch it, because it didn't stay up long enough for anybody to really see it, but I saw it at my DVR that I was like, oh yeah, that's what I thought I saw. I saw another QR code. They are basically doing CSI detective work within his promos for you to catch what he's talking about, where he's talking about it, when. He's literally doing who, what, where, when, and why in all of his promos. And you have to be astute enough. And if you are the type that grasps onto the world of a character, if it's well built and well planned out, then you're really enjoying this. If you're one of those people that's like, just when is Bray going to get back into the ring? That's all in due time. He will bring himself into the ring against whoever his opponent is going to be, if it's indeed going to be an opponent. Is he going to be wrestling an opponent, or is he going to be wrestling one of his demons? Think about that. We don't know the way that they're doing this, but I'm thoroughly intrigued every time they say, oh, we're going to have Bray Wyatt on. Okay, let's not change the channel. Let's go ahead and watch what's going on. I'm thoroughly invested in this. I really want to see where they're going with this.
See, peeps, it's amazing that you brought that up. And you see, of course, you know, I'm a junkie for the QR codes, and I looked up the QR code. You know, had to. You know what it brought me to? My point exactly. A psychiatric evaluation, peeps. A doctor's report on a psychiatric evaluation.
Okay.
Peeps, I'm going mental in my own state, okay? But the fact that I can already know that Bray was going mental and that he's putting it, my. And don't forget, he goes where the circle takes him.
Yes. And then the wink at the end of the promo that, we got you. We see you, Bray. We see you. We see you. We see you.
But from there, we move into the last topic today for Fast Track, and it goes back to the world of AEW. And if you watch this Tuesday's Dynamite, then you would know Adam Page suffered a concussion. Of course, all in all, it was an accident. You can perfectly see that after that lariat, he fell kind of on the wrong way, landed wrong on his head. And of course, we had to go ahead and see them take him out on a stretcher, pull down the ropes for the ring just to go ahead and carry him out the right way. And he was treated at a nearby facility in Cincinnati, and he was deemed perfectly fine, just suffered a concussion. Peeps, we know that AEW has had its fair share of injuries. We know that, every other week we hear something new. With this being added to the mix, that there is now a concussion mix in that sense. Let's say that you're part of the press. How do you help this company? I can't even fathom how much they've been having to go through since their incarnation in 2019. That they've had to release from these injuries. Some of the spots. Yes. And some of the wrestlers may be unsafe to work with. Not saying that Moxley is one of those people, because we know that Moxley is still a professional wrestler. Of course, as I said, it was an accident. But in this sense, how do we limit this in a sense?
Well, first and foremost, I think the one thing before we get into what they should do, when an injury does occur, more things like what they did on Wednesday with Page's injury are things that they should do. First and foremost, they were transparent. The referee did a great job in making sure that Page, because we've seen wrestlers in AEW get concussed, and then the wrestler doesn't realize that and goes to pick that person up and continue to do other moves. So the referee did a great job in stopping that. So you mitigate the damage that could have happened. Second of all, AEW was, as I said, transparent. The broadcasters Taz in particular, who thought it was a neck injury. He was really kind of emotional. He's like, I hate to see this kind of stuff. They took the camera away from the ring. You knew that they were taking the ring apart to get Paige out. You could hear them describe what the doctors and the officials were doing to try to get him on a backboard, to get a cervical collar on him, to make sure that they got him out of the ring in a timely fashion. But as I said before, they didn't show 900 replays of that clothesline injury until they realized what happened. Because they showed the replay twice after it happened, and then they realized, okay, Paige is hurt. They took the camera out of the ring after they realized that the match was over. I'll give credit to what AEW did in having Moxley, who was in a tough spot after the match was over, to cut a promo and then tell the fans, I hope Paige can be with his daughter and be with his wife, and he can pick his daughter up again, and those kinds of things. And this shows you how tough this business is. And it went on that. They were able to, quote unquote, keep the show going. But then AEW's Twitter, they put up a release saying Paige is going to be doing fine. He was in the hospital. Those are the kinds of things that they need to do. But they have been just hit with a rash of injuries. As a matter of fact, the most recent one was for Rampage. For those that looked in Rampage, that know that Penelope Ford was supposed to wrestle Willow Nightingale, and Penelope Ford got an injury, and she had a substitute in her place. Mind you, CM Punk had the injury. We know Adam Cole with his concussion. Britt Baker had an injury not too long ago. Ray Phoenix had an injury. We've had a rash of injuries to AEW, and one of the things that is because of a lot of that hard-hitting style that they have, maybe they're going to need to kind of reevaluate certain spots in certain situations and make sure that gets mitigated, because you got a lot of talent. You need a lot to be on the shelf, because it doesn't take that much. Take a great roster and turn a great roster into a sort of ordinary roster, because the good stars that you have are all on the shelf. But that also means other guys are going to have to step up.
Most definitely. Well, from there, ladies and gentlemen, that marks the end to Fast Track. Of course, if you want to go ahead and continue to keep up with all the news and updates in the world of professional wrestling, all you have to do is just follow us on Instagram at Saturday Afternoons_main event, or on Twitter at Saturday Main. You see the Deep Voice Dynamo right there, pointing right down to the ticker. Once again, guys, get your head in the game and look down there. Jeez. Degenerates.
Hello.
There you go. Exactly. Let them know. Gosh, guys.
Yes.
Come on.
Join us.
Exactly.
Yes.
Let's take a look. In the words of Bray Wyatt, let us in. That's all it takes. But from there, we will go ahead and get into the questions when we come back. And then right after that, we will go ahead and get into the only topic of today's show. And that is Halloween Havoc, the predictions. So please, guys, stay tuned. Do not go anywhere, because the second half of Saturday Afternoon's Main Event is coming up next.
Ready?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to the second half of Saturday Afternoon's Main Event. Of course, it's the Phenomenal One, joined by the Pete Snakes. We'll go ahead and get into our favorite part of the show, which is the questions. So without further ado, let's start with Dr. of Thugonomics, who says this: the urge to travel to Newark for Full Gear is real. DOT, you're not wrong, man. The minute I heard that Newark, the Prudential Center, is getting full gear. And we already knew that
Yes.
MJF will go ahead and cash in his chip at full gear. I said to myself,
The home of the New Jersey Devils, for the person that calls himself a devil, has not been lost on me. You see that? See, I like to find the connective tissue between certain things here and there. So I just had to bring that up. That's just me. That's how my brain works. See what I did there?
We're both one and the same. What can you
Yes.
possibly say? But I mean, guys, I sat there and said to myself, listen, you will not find one empty seat in the Prudential Center in November because everybody will be inside that arena to see MJF win the AEW World Title. Peeps, oh my gosh. I said to myself, listen, if it means buying a ticket at resale for $2,000, I'll do it. Peeps, listen, at this point, we're getting the pay-per-view. I don't care, man. Like, we have to. You want
a Thanksgiving miracle? Not a Christmas miracle, but a Thanksgiving miracle? There you go, right there.
Right then and there. Right there.
Yes.
Guys, full gear about to be off the chain. And I mean, the fact that, man, to think that we're really about to see MJF win the title. Now, imagine, I'm not going to go ahead and say that, because if I jinx it and then somehow Monster still retains, I am going to...
Yeah, it'll be your fault.
I'd rather not. But from there, we will go ahead and move into the next one, and we have a live question coming in from Taekwon Mills.
Okay.
Who told JBL to put that NBA draft suit on?
Oh,
you guys. These two amaze me.
Yes.
If you remember this past Monday night on Raw, we saw JBL go ahead and introduce the new Baron Corbin.
Yes.
But if you
Barry Corbin now.
Exactly. But if you paid more attention, you would know that the wrestling god had the 2003 NBA draft test suit on. Oh my gosh, those pants. I could have sworn I heard JBL in his head with the microphone on saying, "Stop, hammer time." Everything.
Yeah.
What a perfect laugh. It's like, one, appreciate it, man.
There you go.
This one was needed. From there, we go to Hot Rod 316, who says this. Who's the biggest what if they stayed until Hunter became head of creative on the main roster? By far, I'm going to go ahead and say it. Adam Cole. Adam Cole. All right? Now, I can't say out. Listen, Alistair still would have been good. And even if Alistair would come back and listen, he would still build Alistair the same way. But from the high that Adam Cole was going on,
yes,
you can't mimic that. I mean, from everything that the man had accomplished before, and then losing to Kyle O'Reilly, right, at his final takeover, which we always know that to go ahead and get up in the game, you have to go ahead and go out on your back and, at the place where you most definitely dominated. And I mean, we sat there and we said to ourselves, okay, cool. Adam Cole's going to hit the main roster. It's going to be great. Because we knew with what it was that the man was always destined for what came to him. And I mean, greatness was always in his horizon.
Yes.
But then we remembered that Vince was running the main roster. So we kind of were afraid. And believe it or not, we were right. Why? Because he wanted to make him keep these mouthpiece. You know how...
Yeah.
I digress.
There you go. It's the second. Yeah. I tell you, could you imagine? I want you to think about this. All the things that you just stated. He had a very long run in NXT. NXT champion. North American champion. All of the accolades that he had leading one of the most dominant factions in NXT. And the first thing that Vince McMahon thought about was, we're going to make him the mouthpiece for Keith Lee. Not just Keith Lee. Keith Bearcat Lee. That's all I need to say.
Exactly. Do we really have to get into more of it? Exactly right. Come on now. But I mean, yes, Adam Cole, listen, if Adam Cole had stayed, and let's say Vince was no longer like running it or whatever, he would have the
Could
same.
you imagine? Imagine the Bloodline having a war with the Undisputed Era, and both of them are separate
War
rosters, and they're both talking back and forth against each other. And it's like, yo, we got to settle this at some point. Then you get them at the Survivor Series. You have the Bloodline versus the Undisputed Era, and then at some point, Cole is going to have to face Roman Reigns. You're eventually going to have tag team gold versus the uncrowned tag team champs. I'm gonna keep silent because I don't want to put tears in anyone's eyes, but it could have happened.
It's already forming, man.
It could have happened. It could have happened.
God! Why?
Yeah, it could have happened. Yeah. Yeah, we've agonized over this for months, but we're in a different space now, so let's see what happens going forward. Hopefully, Adam Cole can be healthy enough to be able to right the ship in AEW and maybe finally get that world title shot and maybe win that championship. Even if it's not a world championship, he needs gold around his waist. And I've been saying that for months.
Yes, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. But I mean, I guess my dreams will just have to wait to hear, shock the system again.
Yes.
Probably around Royal Rumble time, years from now. I guess the fan in me just still isn't over it, man. So
I understand.
But I mean, so you think the biggest what if is Adam Cole as well, huh?
That's one of the most recent ones that I can think of. I mean, the other what if that they could have done since Triple H took over is Drew McIntyre winning the WWE Undisputed Championship at Clash at the Castle. That's something that could have been a real bold move by Triple H, but it didn't happen. But that's another what if that could have happened on Triple H's watch. So,
hey, just have to wait and see. We just have to wait and see because there can always be more room for whatever Hunter wants to put his mind to. Like Juan said, that he's canceled now, but the Velveteen Dream.
That's an unmitigated mess. That is an unmitigated mess. Yeah,
sucks.
I think we'll dance away from that particular topic right now because he's got his own issues and he's got to deal.
If I get into it, you guys are gonna hate me. I'm gonna hate me. I'm not dependent on losing my fans. No, I'm good. But Taekwon, I hear you, man. You're on the money with it. You're not wrong. But trust me. There's a day, there's a time and date for that one.
Yes.
From there, we have the next question, and this one comes from Master Sean 007. Says, "Greetings once again. My question this week concerns AEW. They seem to still have trouble growing their audience. To some people, it seems like they are comfortable with their product and ratings. What changes would the two of you make to shake things up, or do you think that the company is doing fine?" You want me to take care of this one?
You going ahead.
Master Sean 007.
Very good question.
I appreciate you with all these good questions that you have been racking up and giving to us for the benefit of us answering it to the best of our abilities. And we appreciate you supporting the show.
Yes.
But I have to say, man, I think this question answers itself when you hear how much we go ahead and rant on that pissant cover. I'm playing, guys. Just kidding. Okay?
Yes.
Listen, I'm just playing. But no,
Vince.
Exactly. Please, Tony Khan, don't go ahead and strike me down with thunder or something. Get Shad Khan to go ahead and buy out my house or put a lien on my car. Please, none of that. Okay, we're perfectly fine. But what I'm trying to say is this. There are so many things that they can do better. One of the things Peeps always rants about, the use of thumbtacks. That's one. All right, so that one we don't have to get into because we understand it. Another thing is using or utilizing your product better. Okay, listen. to have a roster like they have, and to think that somewhere down the line we have had, let's see, Moxley, Jericho, Page, Omega, Punk. Am I missing somebody else?
I think you got everybody there.
So, 2019, all right. AEW has had its iteration, and there have been 5 world champions. Let me read off some of the names of talent that they've had in that span of time. Pac, Cody Rhodes, Adam Cole, Bryan Danielson. Should I add in this one? You know what? For the hell of it, why not? Andrade El Idolo. MJF, presumably. I'm gonna go ahead and add him, but I mean, definitely he's gonna win the world title. But so many of those names, Chiefs, what's so synonymous with all of it is that they all have gotten chances at the title, but never on a pay-per-view. Always on the sense of TNT television. Kidding, right? And then the minute they're done with that, you put them in a group, have them win a couple of tag team matches, one little singles match where they either lose or win. That's the end of it. Guys, it's not rocket science. Tony Khan has talent. If they were utilized the right way, I kid you not, it would be light years ahead of WWE. With the amount of agility, charisma, and just sheer ambiance that whole locker room has. But no, underutilized. You put up, and listen, I love Owen Hart, guys, but you put the Owen Hart title on Adam Cole to wear around during shows, weekly shows, as if that was an actual real title. I never saw Vince tell Braun Strowman to go ahead and rock the Greatest Royal Rumble title around. So what? Peeps, you can take care of it. Because if I go,
okay,
I'm wreaking havoc. Not today.
I'm gonna pick it up from where you left it off, and I'm gonna expand on that. First and foremost, the one thing that I think, this is just personally, why I think Cody Rhodes left AEW was because of Cody, when he was executive vice president and doing certain moves within the company as far as the portrayal of what the product was going to be. The thought process was to have a sports presentation with a heavy duty importance on win-loss records. And then at the end of the year, those records would reset, and then those rankings would start over again. And that would give you more of an idea, like, okay, everything they did in 2019 is over with. Here comes 2020, and now we got new rankings, new storylines. Oh, this guy did this, they did that. They kind of teased that shortly before Cody left the company with MJF. Do you remember he was trying to go after that AEW championship, and CM Punk cost him a match, I believe, by disqualification against a local talent, which then was on his win-loss record. That was the only loss he had that entire year. At that point, was up to this. I don't want to call him a jobber. He's a local independent wrestler. Those are the kinds of things that you can create a storyline around. It doesn't necessarily have to be a huge concocted story that works. If it does work, then yeah, go ahead and do that. So that's one thing that they've completely gotten away from. Second of all, and I said this months ago with the WWE, and they've done a complete 180 with the way that the championships are portrayed. The one thing, and I will talk about this until I am blue in the face, world title matches should never be the first match on the card, period. When you have a championship match, I have no problem if a championship match is the main event. But the priority is, okay, we have a TBS championship match, we have a tag team championship match, and then we have a world title match. Why is the world title match like the second or third match in the card? And then the TBS championship is the main event. Who's booking this? These are the kinds of problems that drive me insane when I watch AEW. And I'm one of those fans that just wants a little bit of order, which makes sense. The booking has to make sense. And if you're going to go forward and say that these championships are important, where are the vignettes? Where are the interviews talking about how I really want this championship? Where's the video packages to show the history of that championship and who won what? AEW just did an anniversary show a couple of weeks ago, and they barely touched on any of the important matches that have happened in the history of the show, or the importance of past AEW World Champions, like what you said with Jericho and some of the matches that he's had, or some of the matches that Adam Page had with Bryan Danielson, or any of the matches that Mox had as world champion. They didn't do any of that to celebrate those championships or to celebrate the tag team championships. What are they doing with FTR? What are they doing with the Blackpool Combat Club? Those are the kinds of things that they have to do to make sure that this company rights the ship. You have a lot of talent. They are talent heavy. They have a gift, they have an embarrassment of riches when it comes to the talent. They have to find a way to get some of these guys on TV and get them going, moving forward, because you're going to start to see a mass exodus of talent wanting to go back to WWE, which was happening over the last couple of years when they were just cutting people left and right because Vince thought it was better to line his pockets with money than give the fans what they wanted. AEW was doing the complete opposite as far as, lining their pockets with money, et cetera, and the ratings have been pretty good. The issue is sustaining those ratings by making sure that the fans in the ring, in the arena, are happy. And Tony Khan seems to be more along the lines of trying to make those fans in the buildings happy than sustaining a long-term kind of a long-term practice with these guys as far as what they're doing. And I've been on the horn all the time about they do really good long-term booking, long-term planning. There seems to have been a shift over the last couple of months where they seem to be more intent on trying to catch and play up with the Joneses with what the WWE is doing than just working on their product. If they do those things, importance of the championships, getting other people on television, and then showcasing that. The record's supposed to matter. Number one contenders are supposed to have, a list of who's going to go after these championships. Those kinds of things have to happen. And they have to kind of cut back on, I would say, their reliance on those comedy spots. I actually enjoy some of the things that they do.
Yes.
But some of the credibility goes away when you make Orange Cassidy a champion and put him in the main event of a show that you might have had another quote unquote more important championship on the card. Those are the kinds of things that they have to work on. Booking order, importance of championships. Once you do that, you get that clear.
See, peeps, you bringing it up made me feel like I wasn't actually really sniffing angel dust. I mean, I really sat there and said to myself, "Yo, y'all made Cassidy beat Pac for the All Atlantic Championship. Like you for real? Like,
yes.
Where does the credibility go now? Not disregarding the fact that Cassidy shouldn't be champion, but it's just like, what's the build-up going to be now for that title? Is it going to be another championship? Like,
unless he's going to be a transitional champ that holds onto the belt until they get somebody that they really want to get notoriety as a champion and win that championship and then hold on to it for a while, then yes. But also, if they're going to have this All Atlantic Championship it's got to be defended regularly. Not at a house show, not over in England somewhere. And of course, there's another one right there. One of our astute people brought up.
That was me. No, that was me.
That was you? Yes. Miro. Miro, and more Miro. Miro needs to be. There are a lot of things we could go on for like 4 hours on this, but I'm not going to jump so far in AEW because they do have something here. They've got a lot of great talent. They've got a lot of things going. The championships, as I said before, it's simple. It can be done. The importance of the championships, making sure guys are in the ring, making sure that the contenders for each championship are listed. They can do a segment. Well, here is Tony Schiavone talking about the number one contenders for each championship during a commercial break. Instead of going and showing 500 Pizza Hut commercials, they can show in that little, but we're going to go in picture when there's no match. And they can briefly show who the champion is, who they beat, maybe the record is at champ, and show who the number 3, 4, 5 are. Why wouldn't that work? You keep that in the forefront of the wrestlers, of the fans' minds. Like, yeah, Miro hasn't gotten a championship in so-and-so amount of time. Oh, what happened to Brian Cage? He deserves to get a championship. Oh, why is the TNT championship not being defended against so-and-so and so? How many times has the world champion won a match by submission? Do those kinds of things, and you'll get the interest back in. Not just from the wrestling fans and people like us, but mainstream media will get into it. That's all.
Oh, the world we live in. The world we live in, ladies and gentlemen. Ah, gosh.
Yeah.
But
that was a great question, by the way. That was a really good question.
Most definitely, Master Sean 007. From there, this is the end of Fast Track. Of course, guys, you want to go ahead and send in questions. Please, just for those Neanderthals, just point down there for the ticker. Go to IG, Saturday afternoons _main event. Send us in that question, and just like the wrestling god MC Hammer. I mean, Ron Bradshaw Layfield. I guarantee that it will be featured on the next episode of the show. So, guys, just go ahead and send them in, and we will greatly appreciate that. With that, that will go ahead and lead us to the final topic of today. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight at exactly, I believe, special start time 8. Am I wrong, Pete?
Yeah, I think it's at 8. If it's not 7, then I think it's at 8.
I'm pretty sure maybe 8. Maybe 8.
I think it's at 8, yes.
Guys, NXT is about to go ahead and be emanated from I would say it's a WWE Performance Center. Is it the Performance Center, peeps?
I believe it is.
Could be. It could be.
Yes.
But listen, the fact of the matter is this. NXT Halloween Havoc is about to be out here, up and running on the WWE Network. And the card for today, oh my gosh, this is the first time since NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver last year that I've been hyped for an NXT show. This is going, oh my gosh, peeps, like
this show has the feel of a takeover. Even though they're not in an arena where you would think that they would have 10, 15,000 fans, the card looks really good. I really feel good for this card. This is a really good card. Especially that main event. You know how much I love Ilya Dragunov. Oh, yes.
Tell me about it. Oh,
yes.
This whole card, I mean, gosh.
Yes.
You know something? I saw this meme today, right? And I went ahead and I put it out on my page. And it was like, oh, point of view. You're in the Attitude Era and you're watching Hunter Hearst Helmsley and Shawn Michael make male genitalia references, having no idea that in 20 plus years, they will be at the forefront of running head creative for respective sides of the company.
Yes. Think about that. The degenerates are responsible for the next 20 years of the company that they terrorized. Think about that. That is, without question, the biggest irony that you can get.
Long-term booking is real. Okay?
Yes.
Let's be real here. Long-term booking is real. But without further ado, guys, let's get into the card starting with this match. We're not going to go in order here. I'm just going to start off with what I think would be how the card starts. And first and foremost, ladder match for the vacant NXT North American Championship. Nathan Fraser, Von Wagner, Wesley, Oro Mensa, and Carmelo Hayes.
Oh, yes.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Peeps.
Yes.
Listen, I'm keeping it a buck 50 with you. I have two choices.
And so do I. And I'm curious as to wonder if it's the same two people that I just wrote down that you think it is. But you go right on ahead.
Number one, it could be previous champion Carmelo Hayes.
That's one of them.
But the dark horse in this match, peeps, Wesley.
Wesley. You think it's him? I'm gonna go and I'm gonna stump you on this one. I actually think it's Nathan Frazier. And I have a feeling I really, first and foremost, the matches that he's had with Axiom, also known as A Kid in a Mask, who for the most part kind of took his gimmick from another wrestler in the independents. I believe his name is was it Razor Wing or Nightwing? I can't remember his name, but I saw him wrestle a couple of times. Mask, same shape and everything else. But that's another argument for a different time. From what I have seen out of Nathan Frazier, he is a star. He is a 100% legitimate star. If they decided to put the belt back on Carmelo Hayes, which I think is what's going to happen, and that's what I'm going to say is my prediction, if Nathan Frazier comes out of this as the champion, I would not be shocked at all, because Frazier has shown me that he has the same stuff that Carmelo has. When I hear Frazier's on the card, I drop everything and I'm watching. He's that good as far as I'm concerned.
From the moment I think it was an NXT UK episode when he was actually Ben Carter and he faced Jordan Devlin for the Cruiserweight title. Peeps, that match had me sold. I kid you not. But I just think with the way that Wesley, had to go ahead and end with MSK and the whole Nash Carter debacle and everything. Peeps, they need to find somehow to put Wesley out as a major, kind of star, because it's not definite that they're going to be bringing Nash Carter back anytime soon.
If at all.
Exactly. Frazier, listen, we know that Frazier's destined for greatness. I mean, the man was trained to go ahead and be this type of good wrestler. I think, his trainers had to be like Rick Raven, who? Seth Rollins? So I mean, the kid is amazing. I love his work. And he's only 24. So the ceiling is completely over high for him, okay?
Yes.
But Wesley, I just think it comes down to this point. Now, listen, they can go with Carmelo. Because many times, I mean, Hayes, I love Hayes, but I think now's the time where we can actually see him on the main roster. And I mean, listen, you know how amazing that could be? Open challenges against Seth Rollins for the United States title.
That would be crazy.
Matches against Mustafa. I mean, listen, I'm all here for it. But I'm so ready. Wesley is my lock-in.
Okay, so I have Hayes winning, although I think Frazier is it's one of those two. You've got Wesley locked in, so I've got that written down. We'll see what happens from there.
All right, from there we go into the next match. Spin the wheel, make the deal. Wild Weapons match. Cora Jade versus Roxanne Perez. Easily Cora Jade. With the way that they've been building her, I'm loving every single minute of this. Cora Jade as a heel, I mean, Lord have mercy on my soul. No longer quirky, no longer skater girl. This is real talk serious. This is, meaningful Cora Jade. This is, top tier Cora Jade. Listen, peeps, call it how I see it. Cora Jade is taking the W in this match. How about yourself?
I actually think that Perez is going to win this, and the reason why I say this is because based on how they've been building Perez, I don't think a loss hurts Cora Jade, although I know what they're doing. Uh, Somehow, some way, I could see Perez coming out of this and winning it in some kind of not a fluky way, but something that I kind of like. You know what? This could happen. I see the match, whatever the weapons match comes across as, and it backfiring on Jade somehow. That's what I think will happen. So I think
Also,
the former Roxy will actually come out and win this one.
Roxanne Perez for the win. All right, so we're not actually not rooting with each other on this one, peeps. This is the first time in forever. Look what NXT
Yeah.
has us doing, man. Look what NXT has us doing. This is amazing.
Yes.
All right, next match. I'd say the ambulance match: Julius Creed versus Damon Kemp. If Julius loses, then Brutus Creed will have to leave NXT. Peeps, truth be told, I got Julius Creed. I got Julius Creed. I'm not gonna lie to you. How about yourself?
I think Creed is winning only because I'm not sure that the Creed brothers are ready to move to the main roster yet.
Exactly.
Julius and Bruce right now, I think that they still need a little more seasoning. If they bring them up to the main roster, I can see it happening after January. Maybe they put them in the Royal Rumble or something along those lines. I can see something like that. And what I see is not only do I see them being brought up and being put on the main roster, I can actually see them on SmackDown. For whatever reason, I can see them on SmackDown whenever they decide to bring the Creed brothers up. So I think we're both in lockstep with that.
Yeah. All right. So Julius Creed for win on that one. Okay.
Yes.
The next match: spin the wheel, make the deal, and this one is to be determined. Apollo Crews versus Grayson Waller. Guys, don't hate on me for this one. But as much as I love Apollo Crews, Grayson Waller, peeps,
Yeah.
Grayson Waller, that kid,
yeah,
God knows the love that I have for this kid's character.
Yes.
The heel that this man plays,
Yes.
and his level of having you, like grabbing your attention in a sense with the way that he kind of comes off as a Neanderthalish, and I want to say geek, but like more of a varsity blonde type of guy, where like
he's a chicken poop heel, plain and simple. That's literally what he is. He is a perfect chicken poop heel. And of course, I have to sanitize it for all the kids out there.
Yeah, of course, for PG reasons.
Nate cares about the kids.
exactly. Yes. Guys, we care about the children here.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yes.
But
they are the future.
Listen. Waller for the win. That's how I'm putting it. How about yourself, peeps?
Oh yeah, Waller is going to win this one, and you can almost see him winning in some sniveling, underhanded way. That is like he did it again. It's like you look at it, it's like, okay, Apollo Crews is going to tear him apart, and then at the end of the match, you're like, he did it again. How did Waller pull this out of his butt this time? And that's literally what he's going to do. And I think he'll find some way to do it. And then on NXT on Tuesday, he'll find a way to rub it in Cruz's face. Oh, you see what I did? It's the Waller effect. You know what I can see it happening. Yeah, I can see it.
Well, from there, next match, singles match for the NXT Women's Championship. Oh, man, I've been waiting for this one. Mandy Rose, the champion, versus Alba Fire. And if you know who that is, then you're legit. If you don't know, she goes also formally by the name, ladies and gentlemen, Kay Lee Ray.
Yes.
Peeps. Now's that time. Now is that time. Now is that time. no other way around it. Kaylee Ray for the win.
So you have Alba Fire winning, and based on the fact that it's Halloween Havoc,
Exactly.
based on the fact that red hair, baseball bat with fire, oh, she's going to go out and beat everyone senseless. She's going to go ahead and do that. I still kind of think that Rose is winning. And the only reason why I say that is because I firmly believe that they believe in Mandy Rose so much that they would have her win this match to establish this feud even more. Now, true, Toxic Attraction, the only belt that they have is the NXT Women's Championship. So they don't have the tag team championships with them now. But I can see Mandy Rose holding on at least after this show. She will eventually lose it. And I think she'll probably end up losing it by the end of the year. But I really believe that she's had this belt now, almost a year now. So I think they really want to hold on to this because in NXT, champions don't really lose belts that often.
True.
So I think that's what's happening with Mandy Rose. I think she's going to win this match. But if Alba Fire does win, I'm not going to say that it's wrong. It's a bad thing. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Well, I mean, even if Alba Fire wins this match, I still think Mandy Rose can still be in NXT if that's what they want to go ahead and go with. Where this turns into a whole full written saga, like it's like Austin and Rock, or like Triple H and Austin, in a sense where they'll win the belt 3 months from now, or they'll go ahead and pick back up where they left off, or we keep switching them back until it ends one day at probably one of the bigger NXT pay-per-views or premium live events.
Yeah.
Just pull a Charlotte Flair and Sasha Banks out the rabbit hat, and you'll be perfectly fine and implement it into this whole matchup. For me,
my thinking is that once Mandy Rose loses that NXT Women's Championship, the entire group is moving up, and I have a feeling that they will probably all be on SmackDown. The reason why I say that is you already have Damage Control on Raw, and you need a complete antithesis group faction on the opposite brand. So if that happens and she loses a championship, I can see Mandy Rose and Mandy and that group on SmackDown as kind of the antithesis of what Damage Control is. I can see that happening.
This is why I love our listeners. Dodgy D-Pad just said this. Mandy and Toxic Attraction are coming to the main roster to get a program going with Damage Control. So Alba got this.
Yeah, see, we're Dodgy. We're here. We're here, Dodgy. You see, we're kind of on the same wavelength. The complete antithesis of each other. The immovable the immovable force and the immovable object. The irresistible force and the immovable object. And then of course they're going to try to one up each other. Oh, all of these NXT stars versus all of these former NXT stars. And then they clash at some point.
And then he says, "Peeps in my head."
There you go. Thank you.
You guys,
yes.
I really do love you guys. You guys are just amazing. Like dead driven. I look like straight up.
You guys I see you. I see you.
Last but not least, the one match that is really taking the rest of the internet wrestling community by storm.
Yes.
The triple threat match for the NXT title. Jordan Devlin, because I hate JD McDonough. Oh my.
Yeah.
Vince.
Yeah,
but okay, yes. Yeah. Jordan Devlin versus Ilja Dragunov. Oh my god.
Yes.
Versus Braun Breaker. If you guys watched this past week's NXT, then you would know that the KO show was live at the Performance Center. And the promo that Kevin Owens went ahead and cut to go ahead and add more suspense to this match had me sit there and say to myself, taking the drive up to Orlando and somehow coercing the rest of the people that work for World Wrestling Entertainment into letting me into the Performance Center to see this match is slim to none. I think I can make it happen. Jokes aside, though, Braun Breaker, Ilja Dragunov, and Jordan Devlin, three of probably the brightest futures in this company by far.
Yes.
Braun Breaker, the son of Rick Steiner.
Yes.
Complete. I mean,
which is odd. He wrestles and looks like Rick, but he talks like Scott. It's insane. They have the same voice. They have the same mannerisms, the same speaking patterns. It's creepy. Yes.
Chiefs. Here's what I'm gonna say. So you have one Steiner descendant. You have one from NXT UK. And you have one that previously defeated Walter.
Yes.
So if you have two studs from NXT UK and one Steiner, and you implement them into a 3-person match for one title, then I just say that you have probably one of the best triple threat matches NXT will be putting on for the longest time. And you see, peeps,
I can't get the equation right fast enough. I can't write it down fast enough. The heck with the pen.
Steiner math, you can't get old with it. Oh, man.
Yes, the Steiner math. Yes.
You should have noticed where I was going with this from the jump, man. I mean,
yes,
hopefully you
yes.
quick. But for me, wow, this is really hard.
I'm giving you my prediction just by that.
You're already saying Ilja Dragunov. We know it, man. We know you're going See, guys,
yes.
From the moment that they implemented Ilja Dragunov into this match and we saw him come out, I instantly said to myself, listen, Peep, this is Peep's lock. The minute we have the show, Peeps is going to lock in Ilja Dragunov. It doesn't matter if Barry Windham made a comeback as his younger version of himself and implemented himself into this match. Peeps would still go with Ilja Dragunov. Me, on the other hand, y'all gonna hate me for this one.
Yes.
Y'all really gonna
I wrote it down. I wrote it down. I want to show it to you right there. You see what it says? Ilya all day. All day.
Peeps was ready. Peeps was ready.
Yes, I was ready before we got that in there. But yeah, I had to.
Most def. For me, I'm thinking Devlin.
That's actually not a bad choice.
For the sole reason that I've seen Devlin do so much in this company. Jordan Devlin is the epitome of what it means to be a wrestler with agility, charisma, and a mouthpiece. I love Jordan Devlin. Devlin is amazing.
Yes.
Now, once again, it goes back to KO's promo. You notice how he kept talking about how Braun and Ilja have to go ahead and try their hardest to get rid of Devlin first so they can go ahead and battle it out. Because if anything, if they let Devlin win the title, Devlin's version of NXT will not be what you guys want. And of course, that's always the easiest way to go ahead and build up a heel. Because we both know that Breaker and Ilja are kind of like, favorites in this sense, where they're both faces. So I mean, with Devlin being the only heel in this whole situation, it kind of cancels Ilja and Braun out.
Yes.
Having JD as a heel champion, which is what the company kind of needs now in the sense of NXT.
Yes.
This is the right way to go. I think having Devlin, and hear me out here, this is how it's going to go. Braun Breaker is going to hit Ilja with his finisher. JD's probably going to go ahead, end up with a low blow of some sort, cancel Braun out, and go crazy with the dirty pin. 1, 2, 3, Devlin is champion. For me, that's how I'm going with it. But I just, in the sense of where they have to go moving forward, JD McDonough, it has to go. It has to go that way.
And I've slotted that in. So if it happens, then you will get the credit you deserve.
Like,
But at the same time, we know that I think the consensus is Braun is going to lose the belt coming out of this.
oh yes, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, that's in itself, that was subtle from the jump. Because I mean, you implement those two guys in a match with Braun Breaker, that's like the highest it can possibly get for the ceiling with Braun at NXT. We've seen him go ahead and go through almost every other person.
Well, we can both look stupid also with Triple H saying, you know what, everybody thinks this is going to happen, and let's have Braun go in there, win the match, and he's the champion, and he comes back on Tuesday talk about, I beat the two best guys that I could wrestle. So hey, it could happen also. So hey.
But one thing that we're not really saying anything about here is the one dark horse in all of this that still hasn't been mentioned at least once today. And that's Mr. Money in the Bank, Austin Theory.
Good point.
Now, peeps, listen. I guess knowing that Daddy isn't home anymore and remembering that he can actually defend it in NXT, hey, put the Money in the Bank contract on the line at Halloween Havoc. Why not, for the fun of it?
Yes, of course. Especially since Vince never acknowledged NXT as its own separate brand. So nobody said that Austin Theory couldn't go out there and, cash that in and win an NXT championship. Who knows? Maybe Braun wins the belt and wins the match, and then Austin cashes it in and he wins the NXT championship. The fact that it's even on the table makes for television. That's all you can ask for.
Exactly. But I mean, hey, we'll see how that goes. All I know is that tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we actually have our first official NXT live event that is actually anticipated. Okay? You guys don't understand. This is amazing. I can't begin to tell you how much it's tonight. But guys, be told. It's good to know that I was able to go off this thing first, especially with you guys, the listeners, and with my co-host, the Peep Snake. Because truth be told, guys, hey, listen, this is the joy on Saturdays. Because premium live event or not, AEW show or not, you know that when Saturday afternoon's main event is on the air, everything else in the world stops. And it is thanks to you guys, the fans, the listeners, the ones who support us day in, day out, week in, week out, 24/7, 365. And especially, of course, for every 2 hours on a Saturday afternoon. So, guys, give yourselves a pat on the back, because in the words of Peep Snake, a pat on the back is 12 inches away from a kick in the rear. Please tell me I said that.
Yes. It's 18 inches away.
Pat on the back right now,
yes. There you go.
But guys, thank you for tuning in. Of course, this was the final full-on cool little episode. This week is the season finale, and then from there we will go into our little quick 2-week hiatus, and then we will reset for season 5 those 2 weeks after. But guys, just remember to go ahead and keep up with everything. We'll make sure to have a good show for you guys next week. Make sure that it's a solid good 2 hours. Listen, you guys want to let us know what you guys want to hear us talk about next week. If it can even be wrestling story time related, you guys want us to go ahead and talk about crazier things or our funniest experiences in the world of wrestling, our own personal stories. Shoot, turn this into our own little version of Dark Side of the Ring. You guys want to do that? Yo, I'm fine by me. Whatever you guys feel like doing, because listen, you guys support us to do what we do best. It's good that we can go ahead and give it all back to you. So whatever you guys want to feel like doing, hey, listen, there's only one place to go ahead and figure that out. Go ahead, go down to Saturday afternoons _main event on Instagram and text us. Let us know what you want us to talk about, because I'm so down for whatever when it comes to you guys. Trust me, that's a definite guaranteed fact. But hey, episode 14 is in the books, peeps. Now we look forward to episode 15. I mean, it's going to be a crazy good week. But guys, on this very, very episode of Saturday afternoon's main event, I, the phenomenal one.
And I, the Peeps H, where we came.
We saw.
And in the words of the great Paul Heyman, we conquered.
We conquered, ladies and gentlemen. See you next week for episode 15. It is the phenomenal one. And by his side, the deep voice dynamo, Peeps H. Signing off. Peace. Love. Farewell.